Hey everybody, it's Cara. Today we're gonna be making homemade vanilla. I have emptied my bottle of vanilla, so it's time to make a refill. I like to have at least 2 bottles of homemade vanilla at any given time because while one is being used, the other can be soaking away and getting darker and richer in flavor and in color. I'll explain more about that in a few minutes. I like to research things. That's something I've always enjoyed doing. And so this past week, I spent a lot of time researching the history of the vanilla bean and a bunch of fun facts that I want to share with you guys. If you want to skip ahead straight to the recipe on how to make this yummy vanilla and skip over the fun facts, feel free to do so. I completely understand. I'll leave the timestamp down below. Otherwise, stay tuned for a few fun facts. You may not know this, but the vanilla bean is actually a fruit that comes from an orchid flower. Now, I have orchids in my house. This is a traditional orchid that most people have in their homes. Now, while this is beautiful, my sister-in-law just gave this one to me. However, you're not gonna get a vanilla bean from an orchid like this. It comes from a very special type of orchid. The vanilla beans that we have for eating and culinary uses come from a very special type of orchid. And it's actually the fruit that that orchid produces. And the orchid only grows close to the equator in a couple key countries. Now, it grows other places too. The 5 main places where this vanilla bean grows for food and culinary production is Mexico, Madagascar, Tahiti, Indonesia, and Uganda. Now, it does grow a few other places, but those are the 5 main ones. The top 3 of those being Mexico, Madagascar, and Tahiti. So when you order your vanilla beans online, oftentimes it will tell you what country it originates from, because vanilla beans, like many other foods and wines and things like that, has a unique flavor based on the country of origin. The vanilla beans we're gonna be using today came from Madagascar. Madagascar produces the most amount of vanilla beans. However, Mexico was the original mothership place of the vanilla bean. Mexico, where the vanilla bean originates from, is pollinated by a special type of bee. The vanilla bean was taken to Madagascar in the 1790s, and it wasn't then until 1841 when a man named Edmund figured out how to hand pollinate the orchids to produce the fruit on the orchids that gives us our vanilla bean. It later came to Tahiti in 1848. So Mexico's first place, then Madagascar, then Tahiti. And other countries have since started to produce vanilla beans as well. I think when you make vanilla yourself, it just tastes so much better. A lot of things are that way in my opinion. Imitation vanilla is what you commonly buy in the grocery store, and that's not actually made from the vanilla bean at all. It's made from chemical and lab-grown synthetics. One way you can tell if your vanilla is made the traditional way or if it's made in a lab is by the color. Imitation vanilla is typically clear vanilla, which is good if you don't want a white cream or something to get tinged with a slightly tan color, because your traditional vanilla that we're gonna be making today has a darker color, which the color is actually the extract that's being pulled from the vanilla bean. So the darker the color, typically the more extract and the more flavorful your vanilla tastes. Flavor and taste are the biggest reasons I do it. However, there's also a lot of iffy kind of stuff going on in the imitation vanilla as well. From the research I was doing, about 85% of the world's imitation vanilla is made from a component of petroleum, which that sounds kind of gross to be ingesting into your body. So now that I've shared some of the history of the vanilla bean, let's go ahead and make our vanilla extract. It's really very simple to make. All you need is your vanilla beans. Now these vanilla beans I purchased are from Madagascar. I bought these just on Amazon. They're a lot cheaper to buy in bulk on Amazon than if you were to buy them at the grocery store. It's about the same price for 2 singular vanilla beans at the grocery store that it is to buy 25 vanilla beans on Amazon. Now you'll see grade A and grade B vanilla beans on Amazon, and I've personally found it doesn't really matter which one you use for making vanilla. I've used both before. However, grade A traditionally is more softer and is used for culinary cooking purposes, and grade B is more dehydrated than the grade A. So grade B is sometimes a little bit cheaper. Both work great for vanilla extract though. And then the other thing you need in addition to vanilla beans is alcohol. You need some sort of high proof alcohol. I'm just using an unflavored vodka. You could also use rum or any other high proof alcohol that you'd like. The alcohol is what is going to be drawing out the extracts from the vanilla bean itself. Then you're going to need some sort of bottle to put your vanilla beans into. Now, like I mentioned before, I like to have 2 different bottles at any given time. One that I'm using, and then one that is sitting in my cupboard, soaking up the vanilla bean extract goodness and getting darker and more flavorful. So let me open this up and I'll show you what the vanilla beans look like. A general rule of thumb is you want 6 vanilla beans per 8 ounces of liquid. Now, I like to do more than that because the more vanilla beans, the faster your vanilla will get darker. You'll see a lot of people put the vanilla bean in whole into the bottle. However, you want to keep your vanilla covered with alcohol at any given point. So once you've used up just a small amount, you'd have to remove your vanilla beans or add more alcohol, which would dilute your vanilla. I like to chop mine up so that the vanilla beans all sit towards the bottom. So you can use the whole bottle before you remove your vanilla beans. And by leaving the vanilla beans in your bottle, it will continue to darken over time as you're using the bottle. So I like to just chop them up like this. Now this is 25 beans, which is a little bit overkill, but this bottle will get really dark really fast.
If you're going to leave your vanilla beans whole and long, do be sure to slice them down the middle of the bean and scrape out a little bit of that center goodness because you want as much surface area hitting the vanilla bean as possible. By chopping them up into little chunks, the vanilla bean inside, where all the little seeds are, is able to get into the liquid a lot easier. But if you leave it whole, just give it a little slice down the midline.
I'm just going to use a funnel to pour our vodka in.
These stainless steel funnels come in really handy around the kitchen. I always seem to be using them lately. Remember, this vodka is going in clear, but it will get really dark pretty quickly here. And the darker your coloring of your vanilla extract typically means the more flavorful it is going to be.
Now, as you can see, this vanilla is clear. This is one of the reasons I like using the vodka, is you can really tell how dark your vanilla gets. Rum has a darker color originally, so it's harder to tell how dark your vanilla is getting. Over time, this will turn completely dark brown. Now, I like to put it in a dark place. I just stick it inside my cabinet with my spices, and I give it a shake about once a week just to get things kind of mixed up. Ideally, you would want to let your vanilla sit as long as you can to enhance it and give it the best flavor possible. I like to have mine sit at least a year, but 6 weeks is about the minimum to get the actual vanilla flavor going to use for culinary purposes. Now, another tip, once you've used up your vanilla and your beans in your bottle are ready to be discarded, don't throw them away. I like to keep my vanilla beans. They still have a lot of flavor in them. I put them in a Ziploc bag and stick them in the freezer and pull them out when I'm ready to use them. They're really great for infusing and making like a vanilla simple syrup, or my favorite way is making homemade vanilla ice cream with the vanilla beans. You can slice them in half and scrape out the center of the vanilla bean pod, and that'll give you the most flavor. Well, I hope I inspired you to make your own homemade vanilla. It really does taste wonderful, and I think it elevates any baked dish that you're making with vanilla. Leave a comment below what your favorite recipe is with vanilla. And subscribe if you're not already, and like this video, it really does help out our channel. And share it with somebody who you think might enjoy making homemade vanilla. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye, y'all.